Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome your faces to episode number 10 of my Transport Fever series here on the Orkney Islands. Some exciting news to bring you all. This Sunday will be my first live stream here on YouTube for this series here on Transport Fever. The main aim of the session on Sunday, which I'm going to be hosting at 5 PM UK time, and I think it's probably going to last in between about an hour and a half and 2 hours. I'm mainly going to be focusing on trying to do a lot of improvement on a lot of the old stuff, and then also connecting in some new routes, mainly cargo. There's this episode here on the Thursday. There'll also be an additional episode coming out on Sunday, earlier on in the day, much earlier than my usual upload time of 4 o'clock UK time, so realistically it's probably going to be about midday when I upload that video. That means then you can hopefully watch that video and then join us at 5 PM so we can get down and do some extra work. If you can't make it along to that live stream, then do not worry, the live stream will be posted up on YouTube, and I may also do a small highlights reel. With that said, if you could go ahead and like that video, that would be greatly appreciated as it helps the channel grow, and let's just get straight into today's gameplay. This is episode number 10. It's amazing. We're already at episode number 10 of my Transport Fever series here on the Orkney Islands. We're starting at a busy interchange in St Margaret's Hope because we are going to do some work around here at this episode. Now, I've had a really interesting comment, and based on the last episode, it really highlighted how things were doing financially. I really enjoyed the analysis. Some people did, some people didn't. We can continue to work on that. But the real point that was being made, and I just a fantastic comment by Alex Alekos. I do apologise if I have pronounced your name wrong, but the comment really relates to one thing. I say for the next decade of the game, you just need to do management and eventually clear some of that debt, because the debt really is, it's sort of fixed, it's sort of there, and it means if I want to do anything massive, I can't really do too much. I need to delete some of these port battles, and we continue to track that, because austerity isn't the solution. Austerity really, for those who don't know if English maybe isn't your first language, it is really where there's lots of spending, and that then causes just a continuous not real growth of the economy, and that's really what's happening here in my situation. I'm continuously going and buying new vehicles. For example, I've bought a lot of new buses, longer buses for that fact actually, on this route here in Brunei, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably meeting the population demands now. Actually, okay, I'm not, and I'm just continuously spending on little things, and I'm not actually building for the future too much, and that is what we need to do. Now, there's a few different ways on this map we can do it, because we've got a lot of potential in so many different areas. What could we do? We could add more ships. Definitely on a lot of our routes we could add more ships. I would definitely agree with that statement. Then there's the option of the mainland. We went ahead and built the roads in the last episode, and I think that was a really good idea. We have got, it's a basic outline. We're going to continue to add more roads when we need them. For example, there'll eventually be a main road between Kirkwall and Orford, but for the time being we're just going to leave it at it as really is. But the main way we can do this, and I've been hinting at this for the last few episodes, and it's been mentioned by a few people in comments, is by cargo. Let's connect up more cargo. And the real reason for this is because if we look at let's start off by looking at the road vehicles. We can see that we've got quite an interesting breakdown. Got a few routes in the negative, generally overall really positive, and in between this and the last episode I've upgraded to modern vehicles, so that means we still had some Daimlers on some routes, so I've just got rid of them, and we're at minimum now outside our 2 shares, which is good. I also introduced some of the long 25-seater buses in Brunei. Don't know if they'll last, but it is good they're in there. But really, the success is coming down to all of our fuel routes so far, and that is really where I want to try and instill. I want to repeat that elsewhere, and maybe even change this route into a train, because I think that would be a very good idea. Hopping over to the mainland, we started work on Evie, and Evie overall is doing very well. It's growing quite large as a town, 610 population. Connections are quite poor. We're going to obviously continue to expand that as we move into the mainland, but there's a lot of oil wells around here, and then there's also a lot of oil refineries around about here. Let's connect these up, and let's start serving a few towns around here. We've interestingly got 2 oil refineries actually in Surin and Brunei, so we can definitely use those. I would class this as an island. I mean, that could... It's an interesting one, that one, actually. We'll see what we do, but we're going to start off by connecting up these two and then going from here. And then what we'll do in the future is, I mean, we'll start off by supplying EV, and then if we can try and tackle the towns over on the islands, that would be great. I also want to do some more boat connections. I mean, there's lots I want to do this episode, but we need money to be able to do a lot of this stuff. We need to try and get out this austerity and maybe even try pay back some of these loans. So what I'm going to do, I mean, generally right now we are in a profitable position, which is good to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the game onto ×3. That does mean that we can build up some additional funds, which would be wonderful. The downfall is that the trucks that I'm going to run this route on, they run at a quite high rate, unfortunately. They run at a rate of about 260k for one truck. The trucks are very efficient though these days, and I can definitely see myself continuing to use them. I don't think I'm going to bring in any mods at this stage. I don't think there's any need for that, but we'll see how things go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build the road connecting up the two, then we need a road basically going in from the oil refinery into EV itself, and then we need a road for the vehicles coming back out of the town back to the oil well. I mean, I'm a bit torn here. We can either have two separate routes, or we can just have the one route, with the vehicles essentially going in a triangle. Let's very quickly have a look at EV, and okay, right, well that sort of helps my decision. We've got a lot of industrial grouped over at the left hand side, closer to the water, so what we probably can do is if I grab a medium road here, connect that in there, then if we have the depot at the end of this road here, and if we, for example, it's a lot of money there. That's even more money, so I don't want to do that. Tell you what, we're going to try and hope that the game naturally builds some roads. I'm happy to spend 300,000 there, so if we connect that into there, and if we jump into our depots, let's get a truck station in here, so that's going to serve a good part of the town. It's not perfectly connected up yet, so we're going to bite the bullet here and spend that small amount of money. Don't want to tear down that building, and if we do that, so we can see the sphere of influence here is quite large. It's covering some industrial and some commercial, which is fine, and then we just need to build our two remaining truck stops. What we can do is we can have these quite a bit along the road. It saves us a bit of time with our trucks, so if we build that one there, and if we do our final one, get this quite far along, it's a bit too far, come on, there we go, that's perfect. What I'm going to do is we're going to go for one continuous route. I think that might be the most profitable in this case, and if it's not, we can change it at a later stage. Going to start off at, really needs to start off at EV South actually, it doesn't matter, as long as it goes in that order, that's the main thing. I'm actually going to put it into the correct order though, just for my sanity. So EV South it's starting at, it's then going along to EV Central, and then into the EV Exchange. So I'm very quickly going to name this route. So with that route now named, we can go and put some trucks onto this and see how it does. We've already got a road depot here because we have a sort of unsuccessful bus route. Looks like the Sour Two Shares have now unfortunately come to the end of their time as they're no longer in the road depot. So that means we're up to Mercedes-Benz, and I'm sort of having this issue now where we've got Mercedes-Benz fortunately for another 12 years, which is good, but all these buses now, we've got capacity of 15, capacity of 16 and capacity of 25. There's some routes in a few towns like Whitehall and Grobster where we're not filling even Sour Two Shares and they've got a capacity of 13, so we might need to bring in some mods for those at a later stage, but we'll keep on top of things for now. Upcoming bus unlocks, you don't really get much smaller unfortunately, so that's where mods would have to come in. Anyway, let's buy a few more trucks. I'm just sort of bursting in trucks just to try and create some demand and some production at the oil well. Good thing is that we've got quite a lot of money, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to leave here. We've got 4 trucks on it right now. I realise it's not a lot, but it'll start things off. Let's add another 2, so let's start off with just 6 trucks here. and then we'll leave, and we're going to start to plan where I started down in this region of the world. This region of the world is very, very busy indeed. But what I want to do is try and move more crude oil and fuel generally. Right now, we're at the stage where, just before the start of the episode, I added in some more vehicles. It's doing phenomenally well. We're currently at a profit of just under $1 million, but we do have a lot of trucks on here, and we could easily replace this with a train. I think a lot of our trucks are also getting stuck in a lot of the town's traffic. As we can see, buddy, generally this part of the road here, it's just phenomenally busy. I realise I could put down some way markers, waypoints for trucks to go on quieter roads, but there's just so many vehicles on the roads now anyway that I don't really have too much choice now, unfortunately. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to upgrade some of the infrastructure on this island, mainly that be trains, and go and continue to try and improve things and make things better. What I want to do is I want to essentially build the railway down near enough all the way to Cleat, and then have separate lines for passengers and separate lines for goods. What I'm going to do is I'm going to allow myself a second bridge to come over here. This would be the terminus. We'd have the crude oil coming back into here as well for Buddy, and then we will have a stop at St Margaret's Hope, quite close to the train station, and then we'll also have our wonderful stop down here at our fuel depot. First things first, I really don't know what to build actually. Let's go ahead and build the stations and we'll go from there. So what we need is a freight station. I want as long a freight station as I can possibly get. I don't know how easy this is going to be on all of this terrain though. Can we try and be smart here? I mean, my problem is I'm going to have to move that road, which I'm quite happy to do, to be fair, because I'm going to need the bridge coming in at a good angle as well. That's the difficulty here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to build off here and wrap that round like so. That now gives me a lot more space. We probably want to build a bridge over this narrow part here. That should be quite easy to do. If anything, I actually want to move the truck depot back. What we're going to do instead, while this moans, is I'm going to build this road along here, build this road along here. My next concern is this still in the sphere of influence? I don't think it is. That is a problem. What we are going to do is we're just going to, I'm going to flip this around and hopefully it won't complain too much. I realise I've just got rid of a lot of crude oil there, which was a lot of money. So if we do something like that there, go on. There we go, right, that sorted itself out, which is good, and the depot has been updated with the route, which is perfect. We can now actually cut this back a bit. And if we also just connect up a road from there to say there, that's fine. Now we can quite easily get our train station in here, no problem. We rotate this around again, we can do something like that. Costing quite a lot of money, mainly for terraforming, and then we can get straight across the body of water there without much difficulty at all. Let me upgrade this to high speed and let me apply. Only ever going to have one platform here. I can't really see us having two. The only thing we do have though is we have a farm here, then we have a food processing plant over on this island, so we might have another train coming up to Buddy at some point. So to safeguard things, I mean there's actually a farm there as well. Oh, that's a food processing plant, sorry, and there's a farm there. I mean, to safeguard it, okay, let's go ahead and build two platforms. There's nothing wrong with safeguarding things, but there's a terrain alignment collision, so maybe we won't do that. I can see why that is though, because we're so close to the water. If we need to move it at a later stage, we can. But this is going to be the expensive part, building the bridge over the water. Let's get this game back on to a decent speed. Now, the next challenge we have is in St Margaret's Hope. Where are we going to put the train station? And yeah, that was my only worry. So it's mainly going to be industrial, it's going to be using the fuel, but of course that is on the total wrong side of town. So what I kind of want to do, I built 3 platforms here, and we're going to try and tie some of these loose ends up. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have much money right now though, so let me skip forward a few months. So a lot of time has passed. I started off that time lapse and I basically ran into some money problems, so I let the game run and we've managed to come up with this. Overall, bridge isn't perfect with the terraforming, I'll continue to work on that, but this is really nice. I'm liking this. We've got the goods line separating off from the passenger line, which eventually itself will be doubled up. Again, I will continue to tidy this up, but I've spent a lot of time here and I'm really glad. But further up the line we spent even more time, and this is something that I'm proud of. Just a quick note before we go up there, I've moved the road, not 100% happy with it, but it will do for the time being. Again, as we expect more traffic on this road, I am gonna maybe even reroute it around the other side of this oil refinery, but for now, ooh, now that, ladies and gentlemen, is a new truck, which is quite interesting. Anyway, this is what I want to show you. This masterpiece. So, we've got the goods lines and we've got the passenger lines here, but it's all sort of like one mega complex. It looks phenomenal. We've moved the engine shed as well. And then we've got this mess of a junction. But it just looks great and I can't wait to get trains onto this and really let it shine. The heights of the tracks are not perfect, to be honest, but we aren't on a flat map. That is one of the challenges. It's nice to see that class 101 there steaming by, but that brings me to my next point. We've gone and done this, and I really enjoyed spending time with it, but it hasn't actually come at much cost, because I've actually got free, or I don't have free terraforming tools on. Placing a tree, it's free. Not really at all sure why that is, if that's actually just a vanilla game thing, because to be honest, I really don't think I have ever placed trees before. Might have done it in parts of the Scotland map, but I really can't remember. But it is something which is really good and worth me doing, I think, in the future as well, because it hides uneven tracks. The main reason I did it back down here by our oil refinery was just because of the terraforming. Terraforming is quite messy at parts here, so that's why I went ahead and I went and... I mean, again, I'm going to tidy this up a bit, but just even adding these trees in, it sort of just takes away from the fact that there's once was a ridge there, you know, you can hardly tell now, and that's really the motivation behind it, and we've made something really nice here, and I think I might do this in other parts of the map. Good thing is though, we've got lots of infrastructure down. That's perfect, that's a win, but we're still not actually making much more money. If anything, let's very quickly look at the balance sheet actually, and see how things are doing. So, let's take 1989, our last financial year. All in all, running costs have gone up marginally, and we are, income-wise, it has actually dropped, which is a bit disappointing. Main reason for that probably was when I was rerouting the road in between Cleats and St Margaret's Hope, I cut it off, and I cut it off for a good month because I ran out of money, and we can't take a loan, so that would have had an effect on things down here, especially the passenger bus. But for the time being, it is looking like it's on the up again, which is nice to see. Now we need to go and look at trains. Before we jump on and actually build a new goods route here, we're going to actually look back at our previous trains and see how things are going, because things are going quite well, which I'm not surprised at, to be honest. We're going to start with a few upgrades, most evidently back in the lands of Bernian and Surin. This little train here is just chugging, and it's chugging away, and it's doing quite well, but it definitely is time for an upgrade on this bad boy. Let's have a look at what we've got and see what we can do. Two options here. My two options are to go for 2 class 101 2-car DMUs. That's a mouthful and a half, that. Or we go for 3-car, or sorry, we've already got a 3-car, or we can go for some 4-car DMU, just have the one. I'm quite torn, to be honest. It's basically, capacity-wise, I mean, how frequent is it right now? The train is every, what, 3 minutes? What is the loading speed? The loading speed on these trains are actually really good at 16. I think what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade to this big boy, and then we're going to see if that makes much of a difference. We're not actually adding that much more seats, we're only adding in an extra 22 seats. But if I was to go for 2 of the 2-car class 101 DMUs, then I'm actually only going to be making, I mean, a very similar number. So let's try and replace that now. That's going to cost me a lot of money. Kind of expected that, to be honest, but this train should hopefully start to give us an even better return. This is an upgrade which is definitely justified. We've already got so much going on this line, so many passengers. Train's already filled up, which is good, and I think it will continue to succeed in the future. Right now, at a profit of about 350,000 typically it's sat at. Be interesting to see how that's doing in a few months' time. Let's fly over to where we have got our train in between the town of Whitehall and Grobster next. Let's review this one. Currently it is running on a class 101. Now I'm quite torn here, but I think we are going to go for the upgrade. Currently I imagine we've got a full train. Then we've got 40 people waiting at Whitehall. We've got 58 people waiting at Grobster. I think we can, and I think we should, upgrade to the next multiple unit, the 3 car. That's going to cost me 1.58 million, not as bad as I thought actually, and that's me added in an extra 22 seats, which is perfect. That's really going to help clear out the backlog here. My worry is going forward, will it always be full? I don't know about that, to be honest. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm hoping now that we're going to be moving more people by the train. The buses in these two towns might kick in and do a little bit better, because right now Grobster 1 is doing really poorly, Whitehall 1 is also in the negative, and we just need a bit more oomph coming out of those. Then, where are we next? Let's come back over here and let's look at the other line. The other line itself is not doing too bad actually. We've got 39 people waiting up in Surin. Just because we've made a change at our other station, no, I don't think really we're going to upgrade this train just yet. We might add a second Red Arrow on at some point. How much does a Red Arrow cost, just out of curiosity? Because if it's not a lot, then we might go for it now. We can't even quite afford it. I'm really tempted by that though. I really am. But we'll come back. We've got one more train line to review. Interestingly, and not surprisingly, we've got a lot of success going on at Evie. I mean, phenomenal success going on at Evie. How are we doing actually? I mean, we're supplying 78% of the town's fuel revenue, which is great. How profitable is this route? That's my next question, because it's a 3-way route, so it might be more efficient to, or I say a 3-way route. This route is it's in a triangle, is what it is, at 3 points. Makes sense, that's where the 3's coming from, but it's one route, and I'm just wondering if it would be more efficient to upgrade it to 2 routes. Obviously one route would be much more profitable than the other, but we can then also control the demand that way as well, and we can probably milk some more money out of it, though I'm unsure. Let's filter through and we can, I mean, that is phenomenal, that is just phenomenal. 500,000 from a brand new route, eh? I mean, if this doesn't emphasise why we shouldn't focus on cargo more, we really should. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave the same amount of trucks on here. Let's have a look at our new 40-ton truck. It's got an increased capacity by 4. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade all our trucks to this, and we're not actually going to add any more in. That's going to cost me $1 million itself though, and that is probably going to help at least bridge this up to 100%. Then we can start about thinking to export elsewhere, because I think that would be a really good idea. There's a lot of people wanting to go over to Evie right now. What we're going to do is we're maybe going to stick on an extra boat there. Let me have a think and just see how we're doing on the boats. Right now we've actually got 3 of these 45-seater boats right now. Making not a bad amount of money, but I feel we've probably not got the right boat on this route anymore. In terms of people wanting to come over from Evie, it's at 37. There's 100 people waiting there, so is it worth maybe selling one of the boats and then going for something different? I think maybe something like the Moskva would maybe be a better bet, and having 2 of those. Right now we are using... I don't even have the boat anymore, do I? Okay, that is interesting. And it's a bit of a setback actually, because if I go and change the boat I can't revert back, which should be a real shame. Do I go for 2 Moskvas? I don't know. I think we should. Let's take the bet. I mean, that's really going to reduce the frequency, unfortunately though. But we need to move. I mean, there's so many people here, we need to move. What we're going to do is we're going to upgrade to the Moskva. It's going to go and not change the capacity too much, actually. So then is it worth it? Is it not? Oh, I'm so torn. I'm so torn. Going to put it on, but we're not going to replace now, and we'll see what happens there. I don't know how old these boats are necessarily. If we have a look, it's a bit mixed, to be honest. We've got some up at 20 years. We've got one of the boats at 20 years. Okay, we'll leave it for now. And we'll come back to it. Final thing I want to check is how we're doing down here before we go and pass some more time before we wait and build some railways. So as we can see, things aren't actually too busy at Bury, 27 people. And then over at the town of St Margaret's Hope, we've only got 3 people waiting. So interestingly, I don't think we actually want to touch this at all. I think it's meeting demand okay. In saying that, I mean, I don't think St Margaret's Hope is actually growing right now, to be honest. There's no plus symbol or minus symbol by the population. Bury might be growing a bit because it's now got better connections to the mainland. Doesn't look like it's doing anything though, so that is kind of disappointing. How's everything else doing? I mean, I can imagine most of the mainland towns are quite stagnant because we're not doing much. How's Evie doing? It's also not growing. Have we got any towns that are growing right now, or am I just thinking that this plus doesn't exist? I feel it does exist. And I have seen definitely the minus before. I don't think we have a... I really do think a lot of things are really stagnant right now, to be honest. And we've also got a lot of one-way demand and that sort of thing, which is a bit crazy. Anyway, let's go and wait a period of time so we can save up a bit of money so we can get some trains into this part of the world. So we've managed to gain a little bit of money, but just want to break things down in a little bit more detail. Right now we are currently supplying fuel from this oil refinery just to the south of St Margaret's Hope and to the north of Cleet into the town of St Margaret's Hope itself, meeting 60% or 62% of the demand, then into Bury, only meeting 38% of the demand. Looking at the trucks, genuinely, things are pretty good. Our Bury route, it is the most profitable, mainly because it's got fuel and crude oil on it, so it's got goods going both ways. Genuinely, it's quite happy. Then with St Margaret's Hope itself, not doing as good, and I am even struggling to find it. Problem is, I need to filter stuff by... I just wish passenger stuff and cargo stuff could be in separate menus, and as far as I know they can't be. That's quite an interesting thing actually. I don't think I've ever used that feature. Oh, I'm confused. Anyway, so the fuel route, I mean, we've not actually got a lot of trucks on the route, so no wonder it's not doing phenomenal, to be honest. But as we can see there, we have got 5 trucks coming into St Margaret's right now, and things are looking not too shabby. Is this actually going to auto-update? That is really smart. I also feel like I'm being incredibly dumb here though. How have I not noticed this feature before? But it is smart. It is very smart. We're going to use that more in the future. Okay, so coming back to here though, and getting over my flabbergasted moment. We've got a lot of fuel to move. As we can see, production is dropping rapidly. I think that's mainly just because of the traffic which we're incurring on the roads, as we talked about earlier on in the episode. I built the line now. The line is going to cost a lot of money to put a train on. What I am going to do though, is with some of these trucks that are going in between the town of Bury and down to the oil refinery, is I'm going to put onto a new route which we're connecting up into Cleet. Currently we don't serve any fuel to Cleet, but Cleet is a prime place to do so. We're so close to Cleet, we can just see the oil refinery at the top of the screen there, and also Cleet is looking to grow, but it's not. There's the minus that I was talking about. It's shrinking, and we need to try and do better here. So what we're going to do is we're also going to create another new route alongside the rail route that we have made, and it's going to run into here. Now I'm not too worried about this depot because we're about to get rid of one of the routes anyway. So what we're going to do is we're very quickly going to name this. So with that named, in with this depot, we have now got the pink route, which is coming all the way from Bury, providing us with crude oil, and we've also got the fuel route now to Cleet, sharing the same terminal. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to slowly but surely transfer a few vehicles over here, make this transition a little bit I want to say seamless, it's not going to be seamless, but we're going to try and reduce the impact because there's going to be a massive drop all of a sudden of demand when we're bringing in the train here. Right now we're not meeting demand as it is anyway. It's actually, it's already screwed. That's unfortunate. Let's get to the train. We've got just about 5 million now, so let's see what we can do. Let's start off by filtering by wagons, and this is really what I like. If we can filter by freight here, I think we're not really going to be having too much of an option, are we? We're unfortunately not. We're going to go for the tanker wagon. They cost $1 million each, which is just phenomenal. What are we going to do here? Well, I'm going to bend my rule, I think. I'm going to have to bend my rule. The problem is, I was looking at the price of locomotives. Long term, realistically, I'd love to have a Class 103. Class 103 is probably the best locomotive to have on a route like this. It can go a phenomenal speed and it's got a wonderful tractive effort. However, I can't afford 16 million. If I could afford 16 million, that would be great. We're not there yet though. What I'm probably going to have to do is go for a locomotive probably down about this size, to be honest, something much smaller. But I just don't have the funds really, do I, right now? What we're going to have to do is we're just going to have to sell. I was going to break my financial rule there, I really was. I was going to take out more loans, but I'm just not going to allow for it. I'm going to stay strong. We've built this amazing infrastructure, but we're not going to be able to use it yet, unfortunately. I'm really upset by that statement, I really am, but we're going to have to upgrade the trucks in the meantime. So what we're going to do here, we actually still have a bit of money. We're going to upgrade to the new, bigger trucks. And then we're going to pay a lot of money there. Not too bad issue though. Then we're also going to upgrade the trucks going into the town of St. Margaret's as well. That's going to pretty much spend all my money. And I think that brings me to quite a good end to the episode, to be honest. This does mean though that we're still building for the future, we're still being sustainable. I've not got us out of austerity by any means at all here, but what I am going to have to do is I'm actually going to have to unblock these roads, I'm noticing that. The big thing is though, is that I'm taking steps towards longer term financial income. I'm going to have to try and, I mean this is where we're losing money, for example on stretches of road like this. Me upgrading this stretch of road would cost so much money though. Let's see how much it would actually cost me to upgrade. Yeah, 1 million alone there, but that's my bottleneck, and I think we need to try and come up with alternative routes for some of my trucks to go, and I've got quite a good idea here actually. I am expecting maybe the town to start to grow over this side, but what we're going to do is we're going to build a road alongside the railway track, and then we're going to cross it over here. And this means we just void the town entirely, which is what I want entirely. If we build that like that, I don't know if the trucks will automatically jump over here. If we can filter that off and filter by road vehicle. So no, they're not. They're still using that road there. But let's go and add in a waypoint. I added in this bridge. I don't know if I'm too happy with the bridge, to be honest, but it's gonna have to do for the time being. Again, as I said, I might work on some of the terraforming, some of the trees, that sort of thing at a later stage. But what we're going to do is we're going to add in a very quick waypoint, if I can remember how to do it. So there we have our new waypoints. Now our trucks are using this outer road, which is perfect. It's acting like a bypass, and I'm expecting the frequency to really drive here, and I'm expecting this in the next episode, this route anyway, to go into the $1 million bracket, which should be phenomenal for a route on road. Let me know what you think about the train. We'll try and get that in that next episode, but finance is the issue, and it's a lot of great infrastructure here. I think we'll probably go and build the passenger train down to Cleat because we're basically already there, but it just costs so much money, and that's the unfortunate thing, to be honest. We can't really do too much about it. Before we end this episode, let's check out things, how they are doing up in Eevee. Overall, it doesn't look like there's as much demand as there once was. Has production crashed? Wouldn't say it's crashed, I think it's probably stabilised is the good word there. Have I already missed things? Doesn't matter, we can filter it by a much faster filter. Overall, it's not as successful as it once was. Let me know if I should break this route down or not. I'm thinking towards yes, but let me know in the comment section below. That then brings us to the end of the episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. This one was much more hands-on, much more going ahead and doing some building. I really enjoyed this episode. I felt it went much smoother. Just the last episode, it was a bit up and down, I felt, but this one was really good. We got a lot done. Looking at the maps now though, we can see the large map. We still got a big blank area in the middle, which we need to start working on. In the next episode, we're going to do some work with boats to start off with, I think. And then from there continue on, really just connecting into the mainland with those boats and doing some joining up there, while continuing to try and get out of this austerity and focusing on a bit of goods. Looking at the top of the map, we can see there has been a few changes over on the island with Grobster and Whitehall to the right. We've also had one or two changes going on around Evie and Brunei and Surin itself. And then finally, in the south of the islands, we've got our new fuel route down to Cleet from the oil refinery. And then we've also made some changes and rerouted our trucks around the outside of St Margaret's Hope. I've not gone and put on the railway cargo route onto this map yet because it's not actually active, but when I do, I will be sure to put it on there. If you could go ahead and please leave a like rating, that would be greatly appreciated. If you could go and check out my Twitter, my Patreon and my Discord, all the links are down below. If you go and follow me on those social medias, then you'll be able to get notification about when I'm going to be live streaming on Sunday, just in case you forget. I hope to see everyone there. And that's all for this video, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you very much for watching. My name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.